Hello and welcome to Smitty's. I am a wood cutting fanatic who loves to run a chainsaw. I run alcohol chainsaws, ported chainsaws, I race chainsaws, and I even run the occasional vintage. Now remember, I cannot do this without you. You're everything to the channel, so please remember, subscribe, give that thumbs up, leave that comment. Today, we are going to have a lot of fun. So how you doing? Hey, today, I'm going to show you how I pulled off the victory at Sawfest. Basically, well, I'm just going to let it speak for itself. People were having trouble running my saws because of the way I sharpen chain. And, well, today I'm going to reveal it all. I'm going to show you why they were having trouble and why it works for me. And then you can decide whether or not it might work for you. Alrighty, so here we go. Up first here, we're gonna run the Bellhopper built 372. We're gonna make a couple of quick cuts. Basically, you're gonna get to see the saw tuned and running the way it was at Sawfest, and I'm going to detune the saw for my firewood rotation. I don't run the saw this way all the time, especially, you know, if you're running a saw like this all the time, it's not gonna last, you're gonna have issues, and you know what I mean? But to lean it out like this, just to make a couple of quick cookies in a competition scenario, you know, you can pull it off sometimes, and that's what I did. But today, I'm actually just gonna get it running. You're gonna get to see it make a couple little cuts, kind of a victory lap, I guess you could say, and I'm gonna detune it. Then we're gonna get into the regular side of the video, and it's gonna have the steel 36, and I'm going to show you all the details with how I pulled off my victory. I actually did it with both my Bellhopper 372 and the 36, and I got footage of it. I'm going to be able to show it to you, explain everything, and I hope you enjoy. This is going to be something I don't think any of you have ever seen before. Now this is Jakey. He's not feeling so good. He just wants to hold on to Daddy, huh? So as soon as he starts feeling better, I'm gonna go out here and make some cuts. Alrighty? So we got the 372 fattened back up. What do you say we go ahead and grab the 36 and give it a run, and then I'm going to show you how I managed to save myself with my chain. Something you don't typically experience with sharpened chains unless you sharpen the way I do, and I haven't actually showed you these techniques. This is kind of way down the line in our sharpening series here. We still got a lot of stuff. Basically, you got to learn what 2 + 2 is before you can learn what a squared plus b squared equals c squared is, if you know what I mean. So, you know, we got a long ways to go yet until we get to this point and me showing you on these videos. But I figured I'd take this opportunity and show you how this chain performs. It's not for everybody. Not everybody's going to like it. A lot of guys are not going to like it. I'll be surprised if half the people who run this chain like it. It's a little weird to run. It takes a bit of practice, a good bit of practice, I should say, to learn how to control this. depending on how bad you are at cutting, really, because this chain is going to show your flaws. It's going to take whatever flaws you have and reveal them to you. And, you know, we're going to kind of go over that in this video. Alrighty, so let me grab the 036 and let's have some fun here. Alrighty. So here's the 036. I think we should make 2 mods to this saw. I was running into some problems. The muffler is very quiet compared to a lot of saws that have been built, imported, and so forth. In fact, it's so quiet that I couldn't hear the saw running during the competition. And that really kind of messed with my head because it was hard to control the saw, you know, the speed of it and everything without being able to hear it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a cheap muffler and literally just gut the sucker with big giant hole out the front, get the air moving through it as fast as possible, and then probably set it up with a stack filter setup. And I think those are the only 2 mods I'm planning on doing to this saw before the next event. Just, you know, she placed 8th. Can I do better? Or maybe somebody else is going to come with a better built, you know what I mean? It's still questionable, but you know, I placed 8th with it. Maybe I could do those 2 mods and pick up a little bit of extra time, you know what I mean? Or should I say shave a little time off? But that's not really the subject of today's video. Today's video is about that chain, and let's go ahead and move on with it. Okay, so today, this is probably going to be hard to hear me. I'm going to do my best, but today we're going to talk about the chain and steering the chain, or steering the saw through the cut. One of the primary reasons somebody will disqualify in a race is because they cut out. Basically, the saw gets part of the way through the wood, they cut out, they don't create a full cookie. It's very common. I couldn't tell you how many times people are like, man, if I wouldn't have cut out. So this chain is actually one that helps prevent that issue. It's like this only because of the way it is sharpened, and I kind of discovered this by accident. It was not intentional. It was just one of those things that kind of happened. It happened by accident, and then I started to realize that I could use it to my advantage. It does take some practice to get good with it. Some folks will pick it up real easy. Some folks will struggle with it a lot. It depends on you and your ability to steer the saw in a straight cut. Basically what I'm talking about is if you push the saw, if you have a habit, like say you're pushing the saw and you have a habit of pushing one direction or the other, this chain is going to take the saw right with you. So you will make a crooked cut. If you're good at it, and once you get the hang of it, you can actually get the saw to make a good straight cut, but it takes a little bit of practice, mostly because your hand is placed off center of the bar. So a lot of people will push to that side. Some people, if they put their hand over here more, they might have a tendency to pull the saw this way. There's a lot of factors here, and it takes some practice. But let me show you what this thing can actually do to help save you in a competition situation. I won 2 races because, I shouldn't say I won, I managed to, so I placed with the 372 because of this chain, and I placed with this saw, the 036, because of this chain. If I wouldn't have had this feature about the way this saw cuts or whatever, I would have cut out and I would have never placed. It was the chain that saved me. So let me show you. I gotta get the saw warmed up and I'm gonna show you everything. Basically, we're gonna go for 1 or 2 cookies here. We're gonna make them straight. And then I'll be shutting the saw off and kind of explaining what I'm getting ready to do. Alrighty? Alright, so as you see here, we're cutting straight cuts, nothing out of the ordinary. But what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring the saw in about as deep as what the bar is, maybe a little further, and then I'm gonna see how easy it is to get the saw to cut out. I'm gonna try to steer it out of the cut, and we're gonna see where that happens. Alrighty? I'm gonna try to get it about flush with the top of the wood, you know, the top of the bar flush. Let's see what happens. Alrighty, so there we go. We got it. I think we managed it before we were at the halfway point of the wood, weren't we? Managed to do that. The bar thickness is right there. That's about where I stopped it. And you can see it's literally about the same distance of the next bar. I managed to pull it out of the cut. Now how does that come in to play in your advantage in a contest? Well, if you stick that sucker in the piece of wood and you're about to cut out, you can steer it through the cut. Let me see if I can make you an S shape. Let's see what happens. All right, so one of the reasons I wanted to show you this S shape is because I actually did this at the Sawfest. If you take a look, can you see it? See how crooked that cut is? See that? That's me just steering the saw through the cut. This little bit could be the difference of whether or not you win a race or not. Now I'm kind of pushing on it pretty hard, kind of, you know, being a little more dramatic about it. It does slow the saw down, but this is better than a disqualification. So, you know, maybe you didn't make first place, maybe you made third or fourth, but at least you saved yourself in the cut. And this is literally just coming about the way I have the chain sharpened, the way I have it set up. You can see where the first cookie came off, right there. And then you can see the S shape. This works. So I'm going to show you some clips from Sawfest and where I actually used this twice to my advantage at Sawfest to help me place as well as I did. Alrighty, so I think this is pretty interesting. Let me give you a close-up. Can you see how crooked this guy is? This could be the difference of whether or not you succeed at Sawfest or competing or something. It's a way to save yourself in the cut. Now at Sawfest, I had a few gentlemen run my saws, and they'd make a cut, and they're like, "Your saw's cut and crooked. Your saw's cut and crooked." That's because they have a flaw in the way they cut. So they are applying pressure to the saw either one direction or the other, and it's causing the saw to want to go crooked on them. Once you're aware of the chain and the way it performs like this, and the first time you put it in the wood, you're like, holy cow, I must be doing something off. You know what I mean? But if you're not aware of it, you'll find that the saw actually wants to go off to the side or whatever, and it's actually you trying to push, you know what I mean? You tend to lean the saw to one side or the other. It helps to reveal a lot about the way you cut. Now, is this saw the fastest that I can make? I don't think so. I think I can make a faster chain, but personally, I would rather finish the race before I had a faster chain. Now, is this chain pretty fast? It is. It is pretty fast. I've never lined it up against a C83 or anything like that. This is way down the line in our advanced chainsaw sharpening series till we get to this chain. But I wanted to take this opportunity, since a lot of gentlemen out there experienced this, to kind of show them what they experienced and how it affects them. And one of the things you can do to help yourself in a competition situation. There's little tweaks we can do to our chains to help us out and help control ourselves in the cut. And I thought you guys would like this. It's a way to make a cut and use a crooked cut to your advantage in a competition situation. So I found that if I find myself getting ready to come out of the cut, like to cut out, it's just, I've used this chain enough, I practice with it enough that just naturally I start pulling it over. I don't even think about it during the cut. It just happens, and I save myself. So yeah, I'm going to show you 2 clips right now, and we're going to get to see it. You're going to get to see me save myself in competition 2 different times. One was with the 036. It wasn't as dramatic as whenever I ran with the 372. The 372, I ended up with that S-shaped cut with like what you're looking at there. I ended up making one of those. And I still managed to place because I didn't cut out. So yeah, check out the clips, and I hope you enjoy it. Alrighty. All right, she's a miserable day today. It's been off and on raining. I'm kind of catching it between rainstorms, you know. But hey, we got her done. We got this video for you to check out, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, we'll catch you on the next one. Later.